It's not how it works. Okay. So, when we last left off, we had put together a little launcher box thing, and it's just got one button, and I click it, and it launches a game or something, which is all good. I'm going to get rid of this big launch word now, where it says launcher. We don't need that yet. That'll come back maybe later when we draw labels on the buttons or something. So now we've just got our nice picture and a button. Oop. Okay, so now what I want to do, so if I run Sokoban here, here's the editor that all these buttons came from, right? So we just stole this code, and we're going to make it more general. Now, we have some other stuff in here, like we've got Booleans. So I want to go look in the editor for a bit and figure out where I'm drawing these Booleans and just lift them. It might be in panel again. Apparently not. So entity panel item. Here we go. So if we're drawing a Boolean, we do this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to paste this, but I'm going to change it around because I'm going to put the checkbox on the left or something. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to need these bitmaps first of all. I mean, we might replace them later. All right. So we're going to go into the examples, launchbox, data, images, ads. Okay. Let's just grab this. And we'll just put it in buttons right now. Okay. So remember, we got rid of this panel. And these arguments, we're going to change all this stuff, but we just want to get something on the screen. We're going to say draw checkbox item or something. Okay, we're going to need something here. That's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. Okay. So this locked stuff, that's all editor stuff. And we would do that in this new kit by like changing the theme or something. Color, V4, I don't know. 0.50, 0.51. Highlight color, maybe 4, 7. That's fine. This goes away. And then we draw a button. We might not do that later, but we're going to do it now. You know what? Let's not even do that. Okay, let's not even do that. Let's not even do that. We're just going to drastically change everything. So we're going to say we've got a label, a value pointer, and we need to know the X, the Y, the font. You know, let's use a button theme. Let's use a button theme. We might make a checkbox theme that's different. And you know what? Let's make these floats because we're consistent. And let's put this next. Okay. So we call draw button on this guy at let's just do that. You know what? That should get something on the screen. And then we'll deal with pressing it and whatever. So we're going to go into config here. And here I'm going to make a thing called, what do we call it? The state that the person is setting by messing around with the launcher. Launch options, maybe. Launch options is a struct. And it's going to say, well, are we full screen? That's going to be true by default. And do we vsync? And that's going to be true by default. And then launch options is a launch option. So this thing is a thing. Okay. Now, Let's go into draw. That's for the launch button. And now checkboxes. Well, we're going to say X is margin, Y is margin. Draw checkbox item X, Y, W. I don't know. It's probably not big enough. Whatever. X, Y, W, W. Full screen. Theme. And the pointer to launch options dot full screen. And then we do the same for vsync. I don't know how you spell that usually. Oh, and then we'll go Y margin I don't know how to position. We'll figure out a more sophisticated positioning later on. Okay, no category height, no X. All right. Float versus integer, right? Category height in buttons. That was a thing. Let's just not even do that. Undeclared identifier W. Wanted string given vector 4. All right. I think we want draw UI button. No. I don't know. Draw button. If label, this is all label stuff, label, theme, okay, this is not right, no good, because we're just trying to draw the checkbox, and draw UI button here is the thing. Let's do this. Draw UI button, X, Y, W, W, color, pilot, color, map, true, null. Okay, that's something. No, not, wrong game, wrong thing. Okay, hey look. So I've got a thing. We're not handling pressing it. I don't know why I'm only seeing one instead of two, but we've got a checkbox. So, and it's an ugly purple. Why am I only seeing one instead of two? Oh, because I'm going down off the screen. Why do I keep running the wrong thing? I need to bind this to function keys so I don't do that. Okay, that still didn't work. So we're not seeing the text yet because I'm just not drawing the text, but you know what, I bet I'm passing X twice accidentally. Here. although maybe not, XY, WW. $114, $114, $114, $199. Those should be very visibly different. Maybe we're not flushing correctly. And then let's do this down at the end. Okay. Okay, we weren't flushing correctly. Great. So now we've got two check boxes. Let's, I mean, the colors are ugly, but make it a little brighter. So now I want to draw the text by each of those boxes. Right? Actually, let's even. Okay. That's a little bit. I mean, we're going to get serious about colors later on. I didn't work on the resizing, pausing, draw yet. I didn't do it. Okay. So now, let's draw some text to the right of these. Or no, let's handle pressing them to toggle the things. And when we launch, we're going to say print launch options are launch options. And so when we press these, we say value pointer equals not value pointer. Ignore all this editor stuff that we had to do. All right. We didn't say pressed. Pressed is that. Okay, boom, boom. Now if we launch, they should both be set to false. Launch options are full screen false, VSync is false, as you can see down here. Let's launch again. Oop, wrong thing. Let's launch again. One should now be false and the other should now be true. Hey, full screen is true, VSync is false. So that's good. And let's draw the goddamn labels. Okay, draw checkbox item. So I'm going to say after we've drawn that, we're going to say text x is x plus w times 1.2. We should make this configurable. Make this configurable. Text y is I don't know. We're just going to say y for now, although that won't be so great. So we draw text, theme.font, text x, text y, text color. which I guess is that on a button theme? Yeah. Theme.text color. And is it called label? Label. No. That. All right, text X, type mismatch. So we got to insert casts in here. VSync and full screen, bro. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, text baseline. Let's use that text baseline. Text baseline theme.font y plus w. Okay, that's a little better. It's still ugly, but you know. We've basically got things going. Okay, so now let's use, instead of hard coding a color, we'll use the colors on the button theme for that, right? That makes sense. So all right, boop, 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 boop. So now in the program, so we make a theme, launch theme, and I'm going to make a checkbox theme also. Well, let's do it down here. Checkbox theme, and we'll make it a different font just to do that. What fonts have we got? Anonymous Pro, that's fine. So checkbox font integer size is cast int of integer size times 0.7. I don't know. It's always, when you do two different fonts, it's like, oh yeah, this is checkbox theme, and this is checkbox theme. Okay, well that's extra ugly, but it's just showing that this works. Okay. Oh. Any questions about what's going on so far? I think the next step is to, I guess we'll just generate a command line based on the launcher box settings. Why is the syntax for cast like that? It's like that so that you can search for casts. Because if casts are wrong, they're a very bad bug. And if you can't search for casts, then how do you know where you have very bad bugs? Also, of course, syntax is temporary, but that part of it is not going to change. It's a preference thing, but do you want to allow people to click on the text to change the text box? Probably yes. Probably. So, in fact, I'd probably like to, also change the text color as you mouse over it or something, You know what I'm saying? I already explained why we're doing launcher boxes. You can go watch the previous stream. I explained it. It was in config. Gamepad support. Now that's going to be interesting because the gamepad support has to control, we'll do that a different day probably, but it has to control the highlighting in a different way. The double left shift looking operator is just pointer to reference. Definitely the metaprogramming lets you search for casts non-syntactically. I just don't want to require that, Like I think casts are important enough, just semantically, that you don't want to hide them unless they're easy casts, in which case fine, they're implicit, right? But otherwise don't hide them. C++ made the same decision, right? This is one of the C++ things that I actually agree with. That C-style casts are considered bad form now, and you're supposed to use static cast or reinterpret cast or whatever. There's a third kind, I forget. I agree with that. That's a reasonable decision. Especially considering how much work a cast in C++ can do. Okay, time to heat up a little more tea water. So here's a question. If I'm trying to make this launcher box maximally reusable in a simple way, what do I do when you click launch? Do I have it call a callback to generate command line options from this? Because we have to go from this to the way that we're launching the program, and I'll do the first step in that. I think I'm going to convert it to command line options. Because any other format, I would like to not require the game to read any extra files or understand how this launcher box works. I'd like it if you could just target this launcher box for any game that already exists. So here we go. So I'm going to say launch. What is this called? Launch arguments is an expandable array of string. Do I have temporary allocator bounded temp? No, I'm gonna do that. Dude, I might even do this standardly. Because it's just good to have a short name for that. Okay, so we get our launch arguments. And, okay, this is the part that changes for every game. So we're going to say if launch options dot what were they called? Well, we're going to say we want people, okay. We're going to say get launch arguments, launch options, comma, into here. Okay. And then we're going to say okay, we're going to say array add to launch arguments executable command. So our command is going to be our first argument. And then we're going to say full command, or exe, I don't know what to call things sometimes. Exe string is this. And then command is concatenate with spaces, I think it's called, launch arguments. And then we print the command. Okay, so get launch arguments is going to be out here because I don't know where else to put it. So given some launch options, okay, so if options.fullscreen, it's actually braid is full screen by default, I think. So if not options.fullscreen, problem is the current braid executable on Steam reads its own launcher box options, and I don't know if this will revert those, but we'll see. Right, so it has a windowed option. And is it no vsync? Let me see. Dash no vsync, right. So if braid is full screen and vsync by default, okay, that's it. So it's not called concatenate with spaces. Yeah, fine, I'll make it. I have this somewhere. Hold on. I'm just going to paste it. In file utilities? Yeah, okay, I already have a cleanup note there. All right, we'll just use file utilities for now. We do use file utility. Wait, what? Concatenate with spaces. Oh, it's in file scope. Yeah, okay. I could have put this in a not file scope, but the goal is we want to get rid of this. So I don't want to make it public so that more people use it. I want it to stay on the road to being phased out. Oh, I got a spread. Okay. Okay. So, yes, vsync, no full screen, launch, dash windowed. Okay. Except now it didn't actually run it. Whatever. This is the old launcher box for people who haven't seen this. We should have a reset to defaults button. Well, gee, folks, I kind of don't know. I guess system on Windows is not correctly working if I give arguments. I guess I have to quote the space, maybe? Is that right? Someone said that you quote spaces. Let's just even see what happens. Somebody said this. Is that like trolling me, or is that a thing? That's clearly trolling me. Okay. Okay, not recognized. Okay, that works. So now if I get the launch arguments, oh, well, we didn't add anything to the arguments. I keep wanting to click on the text, so yeah, we're going to have to make that work. It's not running the thing successfully now. Does anyone have any idea why if I pass this, it will not run it? I mean, we're using system, which is not really the native. Oh, wait. Oh. I was confused about it's a varargs. Probably won't make any difference, but yeah, it didn't make any difference as I thought, because it just concatenates it into a big string anyway. I think you have to quote the whole path if there's spaces. I'm doing that. See, there's a quote and another quote. I quoted the whole damn path. What if you do just windowed rather than dash windowed? Well, I don't know. Braid won't understand that, but maybe Windows won't barf on it. That would not be acceptable because you need to be able to, Yeah, it just doesn't like it if I append anything there. Yeah. Oh, this is exactly one of those things where I'm like, all I want to do is run this program with these arguments. It's like not. Maybe it is running it successfully. I mean, it's not giving an error. Maybe the version of Braid that is being launched well, let me just see. Result is false, right? Result is true. So, yeah, it's failing to run the process. Fucking Windows. Okay. I guess we won't. We should quote the spaces in the individual arguments in Windows. Otherwise, file names with spaces will break us. Wait, why did I say quote the spaces in the individual arguments? Well, there are no spaces in the arguments. Oh, this is, right, I see what I'm saying. Yeah. The caret was successfully escaping the spaces, but the next problem was the parentheses. Well, how do I quote the parentheses? And why is it different if the whole path is just the command versus not? It's just such a disaster. Okay, I think in create process, I actually have the ability to put the executable versus, let's just see. I'll switch over to that, because that's create process function. Application name command line, right. So this at least separates these. So probably system is just sad, and I should just use this, right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to say if OS Windows, oh, this is already the Windows version. Yeah, so I don't need to worry about that. I just need to do this. Of course, this could totally fail for all sorts of reasons. So, okay. Editor C string is temp. C string of arg sub 0. command C string is temp C string of concatenate with spaces of trailing args. Trailing args is args. Trailing args dot count minus equals 1. Trailing args dot data plus equals 1. Something like that. Hopefully that's valid on varargs. We'll see. exe c string. When we do this stuff, we create process A, exe c string, args c string, bunch of junk. Close handle. Was create process A, return a bool. All right. All right. This is again like that. Maybe that should be an implicit cast. All right. Let's just see if it launches this way. Oh, that didn't even work. Result 0, error 1, 2, 3, but then we still return true for some reason. Now we're deep into like Windows bananasness, so who knows? Okay. Right. Result 0. This should be not equal to 0. Okay. Oop. There and there, but it failed to run that. I don't know if this wants backslashes. I don't know anything about this. I do know in Go Bananas I was successfully doing this. So okay, I used backslashes there. So let's try that. And if that's what we need to do, what we will end up doing is we can always have a little string converter that converts the backslashes or whatever. Okay, that didn't help. Now what? Error. Windows error code. One, two, three. File name, directory name, or volume label syntax is incorrect. Okay. Don't tase me, bro. Maybe it doesn't like the quotes. Right, it's not going to like the quotes. Hey, all right. All right. Good. Now, what happens if we do this? Hey, it launched it with dash windowed, etc. Now this is ignoring those options, but it did it, right? Right? Okay. So what have we learned? We've learned that system on Windows is a disaster and you shouldn't use it. I want to click on that text so bad. We're going to have to do that next. All right, so we have a command line. We go back into config. The executable name probably changes depending on what operating system you're compiling for. So we're going to have fun with that later when we launch on different OSs. Running with dash windowed crashes. No, it doesn't. I just did. Yeah, I'm actually a little suspicious because I seem to remember if you pass options, it's supposed to just run, like someone is saying in chat. So let's try this out. Let's go to okay, so if I just run this, we get the launcher. If I run this dash windowed, it does just start the game. If I run this with no vsync, it also starts the game in full screen because I didn't say windowed. Right, so this matches what I remember. So the question is, why isn't that happening here? Right, when I run this and I pass an option, I shouldn't be doing this. Let's take a look at this. I'm passing it. And this worked when I was using it in Bananas because that's how I was telling Emacs client to do things. I don't know. Call echo, it will dump its arguments. Okay. Is that an executable or is that just a shell thing? It didn't echo anything, man. Write a quick program that just prints the command line arguments. I don't know. Let's just launch something that we know. What's a program that we know takes arguments? Like, I mean, there's lots of programs on Windows. Notepad. Is that in my path? Yes. What are the arguments to Notepad? Windows Notepad command line arguments. Print file name. Those are not very useful command line arguments. I don't want my printer to go off. Oh, file name, right. Right? That's a file for sure. See what happens. No, don't run Notepad. Run the launcher. Launch. We failed to run Notepad. Do I have to give a full path? Probably have to do this. I mean, it's frickin' Notepad. Okay. Let's get it to run Notepad first of all. Where the hell is Notepad? This is the stupid thing. Like, you can write very complex and sophisticated programs, but then stuff like this is why web development is so bad, because it's 100% things like this. Where, okay, wait, it's in program files somewhere. Where's Notepad? Just tell me where it is. Not there. Why am I searching for where Notepad is? Oh my God. Okay, it's in System 32. C, Windows, System 32. I should have guessed, right? It's not a program, it's Notepad. Notepad. C, Windows, System 32, Notepad.exe. Will it work with forward slashes? I don't know. Launch. Yes. Okay. So I guess this doesn't search your path, is what's happening. All right. So now let's add the argument. Launch. Okay, that didn't work. That did work. The argument's not working. Why not? Somebody explain to me what is wrong with this thing. Oh, my trailing, no, that's right, because I'm printing it. Oh, you're right, it probably is the first argument is the executable path. I probably got confused about this last time also. What the hell? What the heck? Right. Hey! That was the problem. Thank you. I should have thought of that. In fact, it creeped through my head at one point, and then I just didn't pay enough attention to that thought. Okay, so we get rid of this. We get rid of this. We're no longer running Notepad. No full screen launch. That didn't work. I think I need the quotes in this one, but not this one. Or maybe I need them in both. Dude, I have no idea. This is why this is such a stupid API, and you should just... All right. That didn't work. So now we're just not launching anything. Dude. All right. This is so stupid. This should have taken 5 seconds. Instead, it's like half an hour now. I just want to say, here's the executable and here's the arguments. That's all. People have been doing this for decades. Holy crap. This is what everybody pays for it a long time forever when you screw up an API like this. Everybody pays for it for a long time forever. That's why it's so important. All right. All right. See what happens there. Okay. See, I have no idea what it wants, and the documentation is unlikely to be helpful. Like it claimed it launched the thing. Okay, let's go back to Notepad. Let's go back to Notepad and work it forward. This makes me so angry. This kind of thing is just... like I'm doing forensic science to figure out how to fucking launch a process. It's absurd. The doc on create process seems to want the second argument to actually be the whole command line. That's what I'm giving it. That is what I'm giving it. So this is just the executable. This is the whole argument list. It's this thing that I'm printing out, which is that. I don't know what it needs quotes. I assume it needs quotes if there's a space. I don't know. It worked a minute ago. Why is it like not working now? All right, let's walk it forward. Notepad again. Why am I wasting my life doing this? This is crazy. All right. If I allowed myself to really get angry, I would be so angry right now. It just wouldn't even be funny. Okay. So we're running Notepad and with no arguments. This should just work, right? It doesn't matter what I check because we're not adding arguments. Look, great. Now we're going to go back to great. Launch. Okay, that works. That works with the quoting. So is Braid not running for some reason because of a Steam thing? I don't know. I don't know. What if you set the working directory argument 8 in create process is the current? Oh, that's what it is. Thank you for suggesting that. Thank you for suggesting that. That's the thing. Executable working directory is we can actually, if this is what we need to do, we can you know, have a run directive that gets this from that or something. Number 8, you said, is the working directory. Although it didn't matter. Yeah, okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 LP current directory. CWD, C string. So I was going to do a thing. Maybe I should have done it on SuperStream Sunday. I was going to do a thing where you could have optional arguments after varargs, like you could say this. And the problem is I can't do that right now. So I would have to have an argument in the front, which I guess I'm just going to do, and I'm going to eat that. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. So I don't want to break anyone. I I don't want to break anyone who's using the old version. So, go back here. This is null. CWDC string. And then what line was that? 1, 4, 6. Oh, I called it CWD. Why did I do that? Working directory. Type mismatch. Wanted security attributes. I put it in the wrong place. That was the wrong null. It's supposed to go there. Okay. That was great. I don't know what that looked like in OBS, but okay. Let's go to config again. Here we go. You know what? I think the arguments are not supposed to include the executable name. Because they didn't before when we were launching Notepad, did they? I don't know. Not full screen, yes vsync. That didn't work. Didn't work. But you know what? It's probably because I put quotes around the arguments. So let's re-engage our forensics. That's going to be, Okay, that worked. Now, never mind that it's not quoting the space in the thing. Okay, we have to quote the first one. Wait, what? I never. How did that work? That didn't happen. What? With, oh, I took out the and quotes. Okay, there we go. We got the spaces around the executable name. We got no spaces around the options. And it executed. And that was good. And now, if I do full screen yes, vsync no, we'll get full screen and it'll freak out OBS. So we finally, after like 17 hours of stupid stuff that should have taken like 5 seconds, yeah, it did see quotes from the command line. All right. That's all we wanted to do there. So we are passing the options. I think the next thing is I want to click on the text things. For the checkboxes, right? So like here, right, for these to work, I have to be over this, and it doesn't work if I'm over this. But I don't want it to be too fiddly. Like if I get the exact dimensions of the text, then if I like go a little bit off the text, but I'm still within the width of the button, it like won't read it. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to say from the left side of the button and the full width and height of the button, all the way to the right side of the text is the active region. And that's going to be interesting because I'm going to have to override the checkbox code thinger. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Maybe highlight the active region somehow. Yeah, maybe. We'll see how it feels. So, you know, first let's make the active region even work. Let me make sure Sokoban still compiles after I messed with file utilities. Nope. Okay. I've got to put this here because we're calling it from there. Okay, Sokoban still runs. So this is definitely the messiness of this whole paste job that I had to do. Really makes me want to do that arguments after varargs thing, because there's been a lot of cases when I want it. So that's going to be a minor feature that we do soon, I think. Call the and quotes. Yeah, you're right. There's no reason why I wouldn't do the same thing both times. Which means the with, well, the Linux one is calling with spaces. I don't know. I don't know what you have to do there. All right. Still runs. Great. So, yeah, I mean, the write API is just an array of strings with one argument per string, so that there is absolutely no ambiguity about what you're trying to do. And you don't need to quote spaces. You don't need quotation marks in your arguments or any of that garbage, right? That's the write API. So I hope that that's what the Linux API is, in which case it's only Windows who's fired. Yeah, exec-vp sounds familiar. It's been a long time since I did that. Exec-ve, yeah. We really shouldn't be using system here. Yeah. Yeah, that's sometimes some parts of the Windows API are really good and some are horrible, and that's just, it's a bad part. It's not remotely the most horrible part I've ever had to deal with, but it's a bad part. For sure. Okay. All right, so we're doing this text thing, which means we're going to draw the text first, or we'll at least get the text extents first. I think I changed font a little bit. So we have this prep text. So here we prep text, and then we draw quads, right? So what we can do is we can prep the text. I mean, this is maybe just being, let's do it the slow way first. The slow way is you just ask it how wide the text is. But we have the ability to prep the text once, and then ask how wide it is and then draw it. Okay. Here we are. Draw checkbox item, that's in buttons. All right. So let's delete all this stuff, just so we're not looking at a mess. Okay, we will say to layout we could do this, but we're not yet. Okay, so I'm going to say get text width, get string width in pixels, theme.font, label, no effect flags. Okay, we do that. And then, what do we do with it? Well, so really, so here I have an inside mask. which like forces us off, right? Like if any of this is this can force us not to activate, but we don't have anything to force us to activate. So I'm going to have a force active is false and force active, right? So do quad here, force active, if force active inside equals true. Does that compile? Whoa! I didn't mean to do that. I need to bind this stuff to my function keys. All right. So no change still because we're not actually using that text width yet. Okay. So here's what we're going to say is force active is cursor inside from x, y to something, comma, y plus w, right? And this is going to be text x plus text width, right? Integer versus float, again, great. I don't even remember what's integer and what's float. It's a sign that the code is just too messy with regard to that stuff. Hey, look, it's lighting up when I go over the text, and I can click it, click it, click it. Okay. Now the thing is the text is not highlighting and de-highlighting, which I would like it to. And we need some other stuff, like we want to be able to specify the margin between this and the text. So I'm not sure whether to multiplied by width of checkbox, distance between checkbox and text. Okay, so text x is 1 plus checkbox margin, theme.checkbox margin. All right, that didn't do a lot. What? 9.2. That's how you make sure things are working. There we go. They are working. All right. Why does O.2 seem so small? Like what's 1.0 look like? Well, that's about right. All right, so that's all good. Let's make the text So we're not actually using that yet. We're just making sure it still runs. Okay. So everyone who uses text color so text color, if inside text color is theme.textColor right, and this test rest is not used. Why are we even doing that? Okay. Making sure it still compiles. Okay. So I believe it looks to me like we're correctly using that for this button. Let's do it. Let's make it crazy. We'll make it red when it's supposed to be highlighted. Boop. There we go. Launch! 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 All right. Great. So it's working. Now, we got to do that for the checkbox as well. Okay, dude, it's a small difference, but it's a big difference. See? See, we have a very reactive, nice UI. Okay. Okay, it's just the font is so ugly. Let's use we have Carmina Bold and Carmina Reg. Okay. It's not as ugly. Now it's just clashing with the background. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Boop. All right. Okay, I think we're going to do a 5-minute break. And when I come back, we'll do more questions about any of that. And then we'll probably save the values from the launcher box and reload it so it's persistent between times. And we'll do that in a fun metadata way. I tell you, I have had so many cups of tea today on Superstream Sunday. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I've lost count. Schooling, question mark? That's way too vague of a, what are you asking? What does schooling, question mark mean? This looks so hard, why not just use Unity 3D? Yes. Yes, there are, okay, let's just switch to Unity. Good point. What about serialization? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. What kind of tea? I'm having Bengal spice right now. It's true, lately I have gone to the school of PUBG. That is a correct comment. Have I tried kava tea? No, I haven't. Do I have a CS degree? No. I went to University of California at Berkeley, and I had like one semester to go to get my degree, and I was just annoyed at being at school, so I left. Yep. Annoyed is not right. It was more like depressed. I was profoundly depressed by the environment of school and felt that life would be much better if I just bailed. And things are good, so yeah. Anything I'm looking forward to most in 2018? Maybe releasing this compiler. I don't know. Do I have a library preference for serialization? Well, we're rewriting everything in a new programming language here, so no. We're going to be serializing and deserializing ourselves. Although I have done most of this work in other places already, so yeah, like when we did the slideshow stuff, we did a lot of, like read an arbitrary value off a string. Maybe that was just, I don't remember. We're going to have to look around. But we're going to do some good metaprogramming on the serialization. That's a fact. Do I think it's a great idea for other people to drop out of college and become indie darlings like you have? Okay, first of all, I do not think of myself as a darling of any kind. Not only because that's a weird term, but like, look, a lot of indies don't like me. A lot of people don't like my games. I'm just a person who makes interesting games that some people like, other people don't. So there's that. As for whether you should drop out of college, I don't know. I think college is even less worthwhile now than it used to be because it's more expensive and they teach the same things. Like, in fact, a lot of what they teach is worse today for computers than back in the 90s. You won't get as many foundational skills today in college in computer science as you would have in the 90s. So, and you're paying way more. So there's that. But I don't know. I mean, for some people, school is the right environment. For me, it wasn't. It really wasn't. In fact, I wish I'd left earlier, I think. Maybe. It's hard to say what would have happened. Do we have string concatenation operators, or is it a pain in the ass? No, we don't have string concatenation operators. You can make one if you want, I guess. That's just not the kind of language that this is. Where does the memory for your string come from? I mean, do you think about that? If you don't think about that, this is not necessarily the language for you. Is there anything in C++ that is functional inspired that I want this language to have? Probably not. I mean, C++ has lambdas, and we might do lambdas, but we might not. They're not that important, honestly. Like, I haven't needed to use one yet in all the software that I've written. There is some code that I've written before where I wanted to use lambdas a lot, so we'll see if I end up writing anything like that. Aside from that, though, no. Information is a lot more available in the 90s as well. Yes, that's true. When I went to college in 1989, people not in schools were not on the internet. So it's not like you could learn on the internet computer science, whereas now you can. So, yeah. I think universities are going to have an existential crisis at some level, and they're going to have to deal with it. And I don't know how it'll go. How is computer education getting worse? Well, the reason is because there's way, way, way more computer science jobs than there used to be. And most of those jobs are programming websites. And so a lot of people teach like JavaScript in college, for example, which is ridiculous. Nobody would have taught a JavaScript style language in college when I was in school. It wouldn't have been considered reasonable. And connected with that, it's not just the language, it's that, you know, people programming websites don't think about foundational issues of computer science very often. So if the college is really trying to get you a job, then why should they teach you so much of that stuff? Universities have heated discussions about this all the time, but over time it's pushed that way. So for example, at Berkeley and MIT, you used to learn Scheme, which is a Lisp dialect, a simplified Lisp dialect, as your first computer science class. And that's a very valuable experience. And I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen anymore. I forget what they do. I think they teach Python now or something. And it's just not the same because, like, Python is a fine beginner language, I guess. I don't know. I've never really used it. But the goal of the Scheme thing was in part to give you a breadth of understanding that you wouldn't otherwise have. And that's, like, not really there now, for example. You go to UC Riverside, and that's C++. Oh, that's what they teach in the first class? Yeah, lots of different schools have different ways of teaching, and it's been a long time since I was in school, so I don't have too much in the way of concrete recommendations. Just, whether you stay in school or not is a big decision. So I don't think you should make that decision too lightly, for sure. Have I ever had a really bad existential crisis? No. All right, let's get some more work done. Let's, before we launch, save out the launcher box thing. So we need a thing that will give us the user data directory for Windows or for whatever operating system you're on. We might have such a thing already. Let me look up how you actually do this. Windows get user data folder. I don't want sh get folder path. Okay, that sounds right. Okay. Out there. Let's see if anyone calls this. Someone must call this. Sokoban OS Windows or File Windows. sh get folder path A. Incomplete. We should use sh get folder path W so that people with funky characters in their account names will be able to write files properly. Okay. Path to typical folder where programs store local data. Okay, I'm cool with that. So when we're here, I mean, we're still in draw, so I'm going to move this to main or something. Okay. Do launch. Okay. So, you know what? I'm gonna make it not actually run the thing now, so that we don't have to keep dealing with Braid coming up. Okay, so data folder is this, which is true. Yeah. Okay, so in config, I'm going to say launcher data subfolder name is I mean, we would put it maybe in the app data for the game, the same folder, right? Why not? I don't know. I don't know, man. Okay. Now, Okay, so we've got this thing. And I'm just going to put forward slashes on there. Data folder. Oh. Base. Data folder. Is tprint data folder base, and that, let's test that. Boop. So yeah, so I think Windows doesn't mind if I do this, but we'll find out. If I care later, I can convert all the slashes to going the same way. Okay, so now we want to do make folder, create folder. I have a create folder if it does not exist. Not Fodler. Meet the Fodlers. File Windows. Make directory if it does not exist. Okay. So we get our data folder. We say folder success is make directory if it does not exist. Data folder. If folder success, what do I do? Well, we're going to serialize. We'll just say serialize launch options data folder launch options.txt or whatever, and launch options. Okay, serialize launch options. And for now, we're just going to do this super dummy thing where we say the following. Full name is tprint that data folder file name. Write entire file, full name, file data. Return success. Okay, so what is file data? For now, it's just going to be tprint that, and then the struct. And that's not really what we want to put, but we're just going to make sure it works. Full name. Okay, launch. Boom. Launch options are this, name, this, success, true. So we should go find this file now. Oh God. We've resized and confused window. C, users, tech-link. Why do I have a %20 there? Oh my God. All right. App data, roaming, RAID, launch options.txt. Oh, I didn't get the new line in there correctly. What? But there it is. Full screen is true, VSync is true. Is that like a Windows versus Unity? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's a file. So we already kind of serialized it. And now I'll run it again and whoops, I wanted to run it again. And so now we're going to turn both, so before they were both true, now we're going to turn them to false, launch. Hey, look, now they're false. I have Emacs set to auto load files that change. So that's great. Any questions about that? /R to see the new line with Notepad. Yeah. Is it like /R/N or is it NR? I never remember. That's how much I care. There we go. The thing is, you don't want to do that on Linux, right? So it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Glad you enjoyed the game. We worked hard on it for a long time. OS 9. Yeah, OS 9. Okay, here's what we're going to do. New line. We're going to say if OS Windows new line is /R/N else new line is /N, and we're going to say version number new line options new line. Great. Cross-platform amazingness. Wow. Okay. So okay. So I feel like I have stuff. Let's look for people who print true or false. Entity panel, okay. Commands. Program print. Program print may have the sauce that we want. Print literal. That's not really what we want. That's from the syntax tree. Okay, let's go to entity panel. Okay. Value to string. Oh yeah, this is what we want. This is what we want. All right. Cut and paste from Sokoban editor. You know, we're going to make our own version. We don't need this. Okay. We're going to use, instead of sprint, we're going to use tprint to temporary storage this stuff. We didn't have temporary storage back when this was written. Okay. So we're just going to handle ints, floats, strings, and bools right now. And, oh, enums, I guess. We don't need, since we're using temporary storage. Dude, temporary storage is so great. It's so great. Because it means we don't have to worry about copying strings when we have literal. Oh my God, this is so great. Look at all these that go away. Copy, okay. So awesome, okay. Okay. We're not working on Sokoban right now. We're working on this. Okay, so here's what we do. We say we're going to have an array called lines. That's temporary. And we're going to say array add lines and then we're going to say info is the type info of options. For info.members, line is tprint percent, the member name, space, and the value. That's it. It.name and value to string. Item member pointer, which we need to compute, and it.type, right? And array add lines, comma line. Okay. And then I'm going to say file data is concatenate I'm going to make a crappy thing here. Remember our concatenate with spaces and all that? We're going to make another one, And then I think this is going to force me to, make the general one finally. All right, so but we're not going to do it yet. We're going to make it work, and then etc. So okay. Oh, we didn't do member pointer, and we didn't do integer as x64. Okay, so editor, or entity panel. We're going to want both of these. We're going to probably put this into a serialization eventually. In fact, let's do that now. Let's put all these into a serialized file. Clean up. These were taken from Sokoban editor. Presuming they are general enough, we should be able to refactor that to use these rather than have duplicate code. The whole point here is to converge on libraries that will be useful to many people. Okay. Any routines here? Because obviously the launch option thing wasn't, but the rest of it, sure. So we want now, I think I already got config, but let's make sure. Dude, this console is such a piece of crap. Yeah, let's use Lua. Look at that. Look at that. It just fails eventually. And then I have to switch to somewhere else. Software. All right. Just getting my commands back in the history buffer. Okay, enum name we don't have, interestingly. I thought that would be in basic. Enum name. All right. We'll do that. Member pointer. Let's just do it. So in the type info, basically what I'm doing is rewriting a slightly different version of what that print command did. You know what? We probably don't need most of this code because print does most of this. It does all that. It's all redundant. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to print out the name and oh. I just really need to see what this does. God, this is just like all inline. Print item to builder. Yeah, it's probably better to use this. Except for all the weird print precision stuff and whatever. All right. We'll just do this. So we're going to say, hey, there's an any. There's the type. The address is, I mean, that's what we were calling member pointer down here. We'll just call it address. Oh, except we don't need that. Yeah. We'll make this a pointer just so that we don't end up inadvertently making a copy or something. Write some draw. Do launch. Do launch. All right. So in the editor, where all my cleanups were, where were all my cleanups? There's a lot of cleanups. Just use tprint for this stuff anyway. It was all copied from the witness where we didn't have a smart print routine, and I think the code can shrink tremendously just by leveraging that. Okay, serialized launch options. This is going to be very simple, and it took us forever to get there. Okay, so we're going to print the name and value string. Tprint. Something like that. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. It's been a long superstream type info pointer. Oh. It's been a long superstream Sunday. I'm getting tired. Unable to parse type instantiation. Wait, no, type info. Whatever, we'll just do this. Oh, I didn't run this. All right. Stupid stuff. Oh, I'm hitting enter. I want to hit enter to launch, and it's like full screening me still. Okay. So something happens. Hey, look, we printed out the members and their values. And it's not spammy like before. It's just the member names. So we don't need all this code that we pasted. We unpaste. This is really all that we did. Okay. For unserialization, we don't have as general a facility. But we'll give it a try. Let's give it a try. So, unserialized launch options. Wait, where did I put the with new lines thing? Did I just delete that accidentally? No. It must be in main. All right. In the to-do, get rid of concat. With new lines, etc. as soon as we can have. This is another optional arguments after varargs situation. That's going to be so good when that feature goes in. Oh man, that's going to be good. Okay. Okay. So, unserializing launch options. We have text file stuff that we tend to use. Text file handler. Are we taking that yet? We are. Okay. So, we're just going to say handler start file handler file name full path unserialize optional is false. Well, that's the default. And then we consume next line and so forth. So skip the version string, and then while true, line found our consume next line handler. Print line is something, right? So we're not actually using the data yet. If handler.failed, return false. Okay, so here we do the same things, and we say this stuff. We don't try to write out the launch options yet. Did I not put a file name? I don't know if, yeah. I don't know how much I'm liking the C convention of all capping. It's starting to feel unfriendly to me after all these years. Anyway. Something like that. Launch data file name. I didn't save it. Okay, full path. Let's call this full path. Okay. We're not calling this. So we do all this stuff. We're initting. Do init launch options, yo. Okay, line vsync true. We only got one line. That's not so good. Oh, because the file handler already does the version string. So we were skipping the version string. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's handled by the file handler. That's part of why we're using it. So full screen true, vsync true. Awesome. Now, okay, we're going to say name value are break by spaces line. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty trivial, so that's going to work. Name full screen value true, name vsync value true. Now what? Well, we say set launch option options name value. This must exist already. We'll just write it anyway. Get member. Options name. Log print. Unable to find option and launch options, comma name, return. Okay. Print found. I'm just going to print for now. And what is get member? Get member. Member, comma, address. So we're going to go value is a pointer, or is of a type of pointer to some type T. This is a generic, obviously. And the name is a string. And we return member type info struct and address is a pointer to U8, I guess. Okay, so we're going to make this so it doesn't, so that it does successfully compile if you accidentally, well, no, okay. We'll say info is type info of t, and we'll say how do we do this? Assert type of info is equal to type pointer to type info struct. Right? So we're just asserting that you called this on a struct. Right? Type of, yeah, there may be a better way to do it. Does this, for info.members, if it.name is equal to name, then do something. Otherwise, return null null. Okay, well, base pointer cast pointer U8 value. We don't need all this casting because, wait, this is already pointer to U8, so this is just that. And then similarly here, that address is this, and return it. Ooh. I think we want to return a pointer. Why are we returning a pointer here? Why don't we just do that? Oh, because we don't. All right, I dig it. I dig it. Okay. Semicolon expected, line 63. That's where I am. Oh. Return it address. Want to type info struct, given type info struct member. That's right, we want a member. Hey, all right. Found option full screen, found option vsync. What happens if I go into the file and say Bartholomew is maybe? What happens? Unable to find option Bartholomew in launch options. That's how you know this works. There we go. What a nice little generic that was. Okay, so any questions about that, what just happened? People are talking about JavaScript and Bartholomew. That's great. That's great. If member dot type is equal to case using case bool incomplete unhandled unhandled type code is incomplete unhandled type whatever member type or is it kind? No, it's type. Okay. Okay, if it's a bool, we say print whatever is a bool with name. Full screen is a bool, vsync is a bool, Bartholomew still not found. Great. So, yeah, it's pretty late. I hear you. No, I hear you. I've been super streaming for many hours today. So much super stream Sundaying. So much tea. I ate an entire chocolate bar today. I drank 973 cups of tea. So, we're just going to make this work for Booleans. So it's a bool. So, if value is equal to case true, case false, or case the hero of Neuromancer. Slot is cast pointer to bool of address. Slot is true. Slot is false. Here we log print. Let's make this agent is unserialized so that we don't have to have this string all over the place. So agent says unable to expected Boolean value, but got whatever, comma, value. All right. Okay. So now we're going to set vsync to false, full screen true. Launch. Run it again. Hey, vsync is false, full screen is true. Let's toggle it. Launch. Hey, now they're both false. Launch. Hey, now they're both true. Launch. And guess what? Look at our file format. Well, we still got Bartholomew in there. That's because that's old. We've resaved it since then. Okay, look at our file format. How much better is that than XML? The answer is a lot. Let me get rid of the version number. We don't need that. We don't need that. We'll get an even cleaner file format. Launch. Launch. How great is that? Let's close this. That's how great it is. Close that. Where'd my window go? It doesn't even complete app data, even though I have it set to show me that. That's all I wanted. How much better is that than XML? It's so much better. How much better is that than JSON? It's so much better. Maybe you'd want to preserve commented options. Maybe. I mean, for now, we're doing the basic thing. We're doing the basic thing. It's fine. There are also drop downs in the original launcher, totally. Okay, we're going to commit that. Bools. We'll do numbers and stuff later. Enums, whatever. Some things are not that easy to unserialize, right? So like, if somebody picks a particular resolution, then you probably want to save the width and height as two separate numbers or something, but when they load later on, they might be on a different monitor or something, and that width and height may not actually exist in the options. So you need to like do some scrubbing on the values that you get in and whatnot. So we will deal with that. But I don't know, that I feel like this is a successful, nice place to leave off at the launcher box. You know, obviously I'm not going to ship this yet, but it's a good start, you know, and we're going to clean up this code, and we're going to ship it to people for free, and it'll be great. And they can have their own launcher box that runs on every operating system and doesn't have 100,000 lines of code just to draw buttons and crap. And it's clear that the next small compiler feature that I implement should be the varargs cleanup, so we can have arguments after varargs. That'll be great. It'll be great. Yes. I don't know. Is this the end of Superstream Sunday? What are the rules for Superstream Sunday? When is it allowed to end? Does it have to go till midnight? Do we have to, I don't know. I mean, we implemented a major thing. I count a launcher box as a major thing, so it must go to midnight. It never ends, okay. PUBG. No, I don't think we're doing PUBG on Superstream Sunday. We're just doing programming. It's always before midnight somewhere. That is true. It just ends when you're done, and it's time to stick a fork in it. That might be where I'm at right now. I mean, I've streamed for at least 11 hours today. That's a lot. That's a lot. What's the uptime on this? Can I type exclamation? Is it this? Yeah. Yeah, at least 11 hours. Any small features do I want to have in the launcher box or anywhere? Like I would like to get the launcher box to a point where the UI is like, so all these are smooth fades instead of just on or off, and maybe things have a little more motion to them and stuff. And maybe we have a nice particle system in the background. I don't know. I don't know. We could add a reset to defaults button here. That makes sense, right? Oh, in the language before namespaces. Just the varargs thing. I don't know. I mean, there's a big list of small ideas. None come to mind right now, probably because I'm a little tired, but you know, there's a bunch of little things that I want to do, for sure. And little things seem little, but you do a bunch of them and they all add up. Add a quick Lua interpreter. Yeah, we'll do that by midnight. You could preview the game in the background so you can decide what frame rate to pick. Yeah, let's do reset to defaults. So in draw, we're going to have a button. And it's going to be like the reset button, or it's going to be like the launch button. How big do I want it to be and where? I'm going to put it up here just to do that. Or maybe here. We'll put it here, and we'll have it be the same color as the launch button for now. Reset button width is launch button width. Reset button height is launch button height. We'll just times 0.8. I don't know. This is going to be weird and ugly. Okay. Launch button. Reset button. Okay. Uh-oh. This is now locally scoped to a block. Reset pressed equals this. Okay, this is troubling me because I want this launch button width and height. Yeah. Well, foo, I want a lot of these values, so we're not going to put this in a block. We're not going to put it in a block. We'll put this one in a block, though. Or even no, don't commit. Hey, well, it says launch, so let's change that. Where'd that come from? So we'll make a reset theme. Normally you would probably use the same theme for several buttons, but right now I want these two buttons to look at least a little bit different. The whole reason you have a theme is so you can use it a lot of times, right? Okay. Let's make the width narrower. Shrink. Shrink. Launch button width. Divided by 5. This is totally not, yeah, whatever. It's just going to be ugly and stupid. It's fine. I just want it to look different for now. Reset. Theme.background color is V4. O.1, O.05, O.05, O.71, and background color bright is 1515951. Great, it's so ugly. Actually, this color is better on this background than this one is, but okay, so it doesn't do anything yet. If reset pressed, options is a launch options, mems copy, no, we just say launch options equals options. Great. Reset. Boom! Oh yeah. Boom, boom. Reset. 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 Oh, say, do you reset on Super Sunday? Do you reset to defaults and then launch the game? Reset again and launch, and then when we launch, it'll be reset, etc. Please let the button color sync to my RGB keyboard. Good idea. How many resolution options does Braid have? I don't know. I mean, we detect your display resolution and do something with that, so it's potentially unlimited number of options. Yeah, we'll probably have some kind of background animation. All right. That's pretty good. Oh, and you know what we can do that our crappy old widget set can't do? Like, we can use alpha blending and stuff right out of the box, so oh, I'm in the wrong file. So like if I want my reset button to be ghostly, I can go like 0.4 and 0.7 and that should just work, right? Hey look, it's ghostly. We have a ghostly reset button and it gets more solid when I go over it. So like, that's just stuff we can do. It's a scary reset button. It's so scary. Oh my God. Hey, look, there's an OpenGL quote. That's very relevant. I think this is a pretty good end to Superstream Sunday. I think we've done all right here. Let me check for orphan file. Like, what's the chances that I really have successfully added all the files? Not high, honestly. Launcher box. Show unversioned files. Looks like I got everything. Oh, you know what we got to do? We got to do the Windows icon. We got to do the Windows icon. Right? Look, we have no icon. We've got this boring thing. That's no good. If Jeff were here doing good or no good, he would say that that's no good. So let's do that. We got to use if OS Windows, we import Windows resources. Okay. And then we'll just steal this from Sokoban. Oh, we want this too, probably. Okay, resource. Yeah, all right. Add manifest to executable. All right, I think that's... So we're going to complete that workspace. Yeah. And when we complete the workspace, we're going to put an icon. And we don't have the icon yet. We're going to copy the one from Sokoban first. Icons. Okay. See what happens there. Probably won't compile. No, it did. Hey, maybe that worked. Well, let's make sure it runs. Whoops, no. That's fine. Run tree. There, hey, look, it's got an icon. Now, though, what would be a good image representing Superstream Sunday that we could make into an icon? What would be a good image? I think maybe I can capture something off my webcam. The print symbol, no. Not the print symbol. It's not the Superman logo. I don't know. original image. The JavaScript logo, that's a great idea. Yeah, I like the office picture because that's what we're doing right now. So here, I'm just going to lean back out of the way of the camera. I'm making my camera really big. How do I need to be able to hit print screen while being out of the way. I mean, there's probably some button I can use to screen cap. There's no, this program is so bad. All right, I don't know how big it was. I hope I got my screen cap. All right, this is now, well, let's go into Photoshop. Just because it's better. Okay. Inches every time. Every damn time. I don't care about inches. I wanted it square. How do I do square? There's a fixed ratio. There we go. All right, that's much better. Okay. Crop that. Image size in pixels for 512. Boom. This is such a wonderful icon. It's going to be amazing. PNG. Office on Superstream Sunday. It goes in Documents, Picture. Why does Windows do this? You just made the Pictures folder for me, and it's not there. Can someone explain to me what Windows is doing with that? It never works. Pictures. Save. Oh, wait. Okay. Like, it's been that way for several versions of Windows. Like, what are they even doing? Like I said about, Microsoft is doing its best to destroy Windows, and Linux still can't take over. That's the thing. All right, Pictures, Office on Superstream Sunday. That's gonna go here. Examples, launcher box, run tree, data, icons. I mean, it's also an image, but whatever. Office on Superstream Sunday. Oh, we have to add this whole thing, right? No, what? How do I? Add, that's all I was trying to do. Okay, so now we want to make the icon file, and like I was saying on a previous stream, we actually can do that. So we're just going to uncomment this for a second, and we're going to say ico file is Office on Superstream Sunday. Launcher box, run tree, data icons. I mean, I could make this cleaner so I don't have to type in the full path, but I don't really care because I'm just going to do this once. So instead of using some grody program. Whoops, I keep committing. Create icon file from bitmap file name. Oh, that's. Oh, that's in ICO file, so I have to do this, right? Hey, did it work? Did it work? No, why not? It claims it's doing it. Okay, it's there. Examples launcher box. Oh, I didn't put the run tree. See, I should have done better. Okay. There we go. Why didn't it do it? Maybe this is cached. Let's delete that. Okay, well, that's fine. I think it was cached. I've seen this be slow to update for icon files sometimes. Anyway, we have our icon file. So we don't need weird Windows software to create an icon file. We can do it ourselves. It's all good. And you only need to do it once. And then we just do that. Use specify the icon file name, maybe. Okay. So like that should be it. C. Oh, it didn't get the icon, or else this is cached. Let's see. I think this is cached. I think Windows is just being bad. View. Extra large icons. There we go. Yeah. It's just cached. So that's all good. All right. So I think that might be it. I think this may be the conclusion of SuperStream Sunday. Of course, everyone gets spammed with my commit messages, so when I do extra commits accidentally, they all get them. They all get them. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by. We sure did some streaming today. That's how it went, for sure. And I'll see you guys later. I'll probably go through tomorrow and get all these videos up on YouTube. And we'll probably stream some more this week. We'll do maybe some more compiler debugging, but I also, like I said, want to do that argument varargs cleanup thing. So that'll be a more functionality-oriented stream than some of these cleanup-oriented streams, or debugging-oriented streams. See y'all later.